A very good morning to my dear students. I hope that you are doing well and keeping safe at your homes. Anyway, once again welcome back to 7th grade English class. Today we are actually planning to go with the 7th chapter in your supplementary reader. The story is titled as Pip's Adventure and it is written by Charles Dickens, a very famous novelist. So now we can go to discuss the preface portion first. So I am going to read the preface portion. Please do listen and read along with me. Pip meets with a runaway convict at a graveyard. Threatened by the convict, Pip steals from his home and feels terribly scared of being caught. Is Pip's theft found out? So in the preface passage itself, we have given clues regarding the theme of the story. The story is all about a meeting between the protagonist boy called Pip with that of a runaway convict, means an escaped convict. He might be escaped from jail or something like that. Anyway, after that what happened, this convict threatened Pip, and the convict actually wanted Pip to steal something from his home. And when Pip actually stolen as per the demand of this convict, and at last Pip actually got scared whether he was caught or not. So now the question is being asked to the reader, that is Pip's theft found out, whether he will be caught or not. Okay, now let us go to discuss the story in detail. Now I am going to read the first passage. Please do listen and read along with me. All that little Philip Pirip, usually called Pip, knew about his father and mother and 5 little brothers was from seeing the tombstones in the churchyard. He was taken care of by his sister, who was 20 years older than himself. She had married a blacksmith named Joe Gargery, a kind, good man, while she unfortunately was a hard, stern woman and treated her little brother and her amiable husband with great harshness. They lived in a marshy part of the country about 20 miles from the sea. So in the introductory paragraph itself, we came to know that Philip Pirip was actually an orphan. He lost his father, mother, and everyone, and he was when the story began, he was actually standing near to their tombstone in the churchyard, and he was actually taken care of by his sister, and his sister was actually 20 years older than him, and she was actually married, and her husband was very kind and good hearted person, and but she was just opposite to that. She was actually treating her husband and brother with harshness. Harshness means the quality of being harsh. Okay, and they lived in actually a very what a marshy land. What do you mean by marshy land? Marshy means, yeah, a very an area of low, often filled with tall grass, means a very wet uh, area. Okay, now look at the next paragraph. One cold raw day towards evening, when Pip was about 6 years old, he wandered into the churchyard and trying to make out what he could of the inscriptions on his family tombstones, and the darkness coming on, he felt very lonely and frightened and began to cry. So while he was actually looking very close to his parents' tombstones, and while he was actually making out the inscriptions, he felt very much frightened and he started crying. "Hold your noise!" cried a terrible voice. And a man started up from among the graves close to him. "Keep still, you little imp, or I will cut your throat." He was a dreadful looking man, dressed in coarse grey cloth, with a great iron on his leg. So, as he was actually staying alone near the church tombstones, there occurred a very high voice, and the boy was very much frightened, and he detected the presence of a very dreadful man, a very terrible huge man, and he also heard a terrible voice, and when he looked, he found that, yeah, there was actually a dreadful looking man, and he was actually making him threatened or making him frightened. And the man dressed in coarse gray cloth. Coarse means very thick gray cloth with a great iron on his leg, and there was actually a great iron, that means there was actually a metal piece on his leg, as if he had been escaped from a jail or something like that. Wet, muddy and miserable, his teeth chattered in his head as he seized Pip by the chin. Pip by the chin. Chin means the bottom part of the face. So he was wet, and he was muddy, and he was very miserable, and as he seized Pip by the chin, as you can see in the image given on page number 60, yeah, the boy actually got frightened, and the boy turned pale. Okay. "Oh, don't cut my throat, sir!" cried Pip in terror. So when the man actually threatened the boy politely, or the boy requested the strange man that do not cut his throat. So in that way, he was actually requesting him in terror, as if he was terrified, or as if he was dreadful. Okay, now we can move to the next page. All of you please take page number 60, and here we are going with page number 60. "Tell us your name," said the man. "Quick, Pip, sir." "Show us where you live," said the man. "Point out the place." Pip showed him the village about a mile or more from the church. So suddenly the man threatened him and asked him what was his name. Then the boy, with much terror, answered that his name was Pip. Then again the man asked where he was actually living. Then by pointing out to that particular place, Pip answered that he was actually living there. Pip showed him. Okay, the man looked at him for a moment, and then turned him upside down and emptied his pockets. He found nothing in them but a piece of bread, which he ate ravenously. Ravenously means very hungry. So then the strange man actually examined the boy in detail, and he actually emptied his pockets, and while he was emptying his pocket, he didn't find anything other than a piece of bread. And when he found that piece of bread, the strange man ate as if he was very much hungry, or as if he had not been eaten anything for a few days. "Now look here," said the man, "where is your mother?" Then the man again asked him where was his mother. "There, sir," said Pip. Then by pointing out there, the boy said that his mother was there. At this, the man started to run away. So by hearing this, the man actually started to run away, but stopped and looked over his shoulder. Okay. So suddenly, then even though the man started to run away, suddenly he stopped, and he just had a look at the place where the boy pointed out. Okay, now please turn over the page and take page number 61. There, sir, explained Pip, showing him the tombstone. So when the man asked the boy about his mother, again the boy pointed out his hand to the place where the tombstone was. Okay. Oh, and is that your father along of your mother? Oh, then the man asked him or confirmed him, his both his father and mother died. Yes, sir, said Pip. Then Pip agreed. Ha, muttered the man. Then who did you live with? Then the man asked, then whom with he was actually living with. My sister, sir, Mrs. Joe Gargery, wife of Joe Gargery, the blacksmith, sir. Then he said that he was actually living with his sister and his brother-in-law, and also added that his brother-in-law was a blacksmith. A blacksmith? Said the man. So when Pip said that his brother-in-law was a blacksmith, that he accepted that answer with a dismay, with a breath. Blacksmith? In that way. Okay, said the man, and looked down at his leg. Suddenly, and he also looked down at his leg. And what was there at his leg? Yeah, in the beginning we came to know that there was actually a metal piece, a iron metal piece on at his leg. So when the boy said that his brother-in-law was a blacksmith, it might be the reason that actually made the man to take a long breath. Maybe he was actually planning to approach the boy's brother-in-law in order to remove that metal, that iron metal from his leg. Okay, just for the reason to let himself free. Okay. Then he seized the trembling little boy by both arms, and glaring down at him, he said. Then, after that, he held the boy with his both arms, and glaring down at him, he said. Then he asked, now look here. The question being whether you are to be let to live, you know what a file is. And then he, after holding this boy strongly, the man said that if he wanted to be alive, yeah, the boy had to obey him. Then he added, you know what a file is. Then he was actually asking the boy whether he knew what a file was. What do you mean by file? File is actually a tool to cut through the convict's chains. So for example, that is what a file is, actually a weapon that might be with whom? That might be with a blacksmith, because blacksmith used tools in order to cut such kind of iron metal or something like that. So the first demand of the man was actually, yeah, he actually asked the boy, he approached the boy for coming with a file, the tool in order to remove the iron metal from his leg. Yes, sir. Then the boy agreed. And you know what victual is? What do you mean by victuals? Victuals means victuals or victuals, meaning food. Then again the man asked him, or the man demanded him to come back with some food items. So in that way, the man put forward two demands. The first demand was actually to take a file, and the Second demand was actually to take a victual, take some victuals. Okay, you get me a file and you get me victuals, you bring them both to me. All this time he was tilting poor Pip backwards till he was dreadfully frightened and giddy. Giddy means feeling dizzy. Okay, so then as I said, the man demanded the boy to come back with a file and some victuals, and all the time he was actually holding the boy tightly in order to make the boy frightened and terrified. Pip said that he would get the man the file and would get him what broken bits of food he could, and would come to him at the battery early in the morning. So the boy agreed, and the boy said to him that he would definitely come with those things in the early in the morning. So in that way he left the place. Okay, Pip ran home without stopping. So soon he went to his home. Maybe that much he was terrified. Joe was sitting in the chimney corner and told him Mrs. Joe had been out to look for him and taken Tickler with her. When he actually reached the home, his brother-in-law said that his sister was actually went outside in search of him. Tickler was actually a cane. Pip was rather depressed by this piece of news. So when Pip came to know that his sister actually went outside in search of him, he was quite sad. Okay, now we can move with the next page. So please turn over the page and take page number 62. Miss Joe came in almost directly, and after having given Pip a taste of Tickler, she sat down to prepare the tea, and cutting a huge slice of bread and butter, she gave half of it to Joe and half to Pip. So after some time, Mrs. Joe came back, and after giving Pip a taste of Tickler, after giving Pip a small portion of Tickler, she actually went to prepare the tea, and after that, while she was actually preparing the tea, she was also cutting the huge slice of bread and butter, and then she actually gave half portion of that bread and butter to Joe and half portion to Pip. Pip managed after some time to slip his piece down the leg of his trousers, and Joe, thinking he had swallowed it, was dreadfully alarmed and begged him not to bolt his food like that. So while Pip was actually having that slice of bread and butter, Pip managed to slip his piece down. So he deliberately slipped his piece down. What might be the reason? Yeah, with a view to offer that piece of bread and butter to whom? Bread and butter to that strange man. So while Pip and Mr. Joe were having the slice of bread and butter, Pip deliberately managed to slip his piece down the leg of his trousers, and he actually made Joe to think that the boy was actually swallowing it. Okay, and was dreadfully alarmed and begged him not to bolt his food like that. So when Mr. Joe found that the boy swallowed, Mr. Joe actually thought that the boy was actually swallowing the food so soon, or swallowing the food quickly. So when by realizing that the boy swallowed the food in a very fast manner, the Mr. Joe was actually uh, uh, teaching him not to swallow food like that, because that is not actually good for his physique. Okay, so in that way he said that, yeah, was dreadfully alarmed and begged him not to bolt his food like that. Okay, so Mr. Joe asked him not to he was actually requesting him not to eat food like that. Okay, Pip, old chap means old fellow. Pip, old fellow, you will do yourself a mischief. I will stick somewhere. It will stick somewhere. You can't have chewed it, Pip. You know, Pip, you and me is always friends, and I would be the last to tell upon you at any time, but such a most uncommon bolt as that. So then Mr. Joe said that don't feel bad on him, because he was actually his all-time good friend. So he said that he had actually the freedom to tell him when he committed a mistake, and he added that never swallow food like that. That would definitely affect his physique. Okay, that would definitely affect his body. Okay, so in that way he Mr. Joe corrected him. But actually actually Pip did it deliberately. Pip was not swallowing it. Pip was actually while Pip was having um, uh, that slice of bread and butter, he deliberately slipped it into his uh, trousers, or slipped his piece down the leg of his trousers, with a view to hand over this to whom? The strange man. Okay, now we are moving to the next part. Poor Pip passed a wretched night, thinking of the dreadful promise he had made, and as soon as it was beginning to get light outside, he got up and crept downstairs. So for Pip, that night was a wretched night. Wretched means miserable night. Why it was a miserable night? Because throughout the entire night he was actually thinking about the dreadful promise, or he was actually thinking about the risky promise he had actually made with whom? He had actually made with the strange man. And when it became the morning, he soon went outside in order to offer the two things the strange man asked for. Okay, as quickly as he could, he took some bread, some cheese, about half a jar of mincemeat. He tied up in a handkerchief with a previous night's slice of bread and butter, a meat bone with very little on it, and a pie, which he found on an upper shelf. Then he got a file from among Joe's tools and ran for the marshes. Okay, so then soon he managed to take some bread, and then some cheese, then half a jar of mincemeat. Mincemeat means a mixture of fruits, also some fruits, and all these things he tied up in a handkerchief. Then he also took the previous night's slice of bread and butter, which he deliberately slipped down the leg of his trousers. Okay, and also a meat bone with very little on it, and a pie. Pie means something like a pizza. Then which he found on an upper shelf. Again, with all those things, he also took some meat bone with little on it, and a pie means pizza. Then he got a file from among Joe's tools and ran for the marshes. After that, he took the tool also, uh, and in that way he soon went to that marshy area. Marshy area, as I said, an area of low, often with tall grass. Okay, now we are actually moving with the next page. So here I'm going to read the next page. found the man waiting for him, half dead with cold and hunger, and he ate the food in such a ravenous way that Pip, in spite of his terror, was quite pitiful over him and said, "I am glad you enjoy it." "Thank you, my boy, I do." Pip watched him trying to file the iron off his leg, and then, being afraid of stopping longer away from home, he ran off. So then soon he approached the strange man, and the strange man was actually waiting for him eagerly, and as he passed the food items to him, the strange man ate it in such a ravenous way. Ravenous way means in a way as if he was very hungry, and in a way as if he had not been eaten anything. And while he was eating all these things in a very hungry manner, the boy felt pity over him, and the boy even though the boy was dreadful, or even though the boy was in terror, the boy added that he was at least happy that the strange man was able to enjoy the food. Then the strange man thanked him, and Pip watched him trying to file the iron of his leg, and then the Pip actually handed over the file to him, and Pip also watched how he actually tried to remove the iron from his leg through using the tool file. Okay, and then, being afraid of stopping longer away from home, he ran off. So then he soon ran off to his home, as he was afraid to be away from home very longer. Okay, so I think this is enough for today, so we can wind up here. So I think that you understood everything which we discussed today. Anyway, thank you and have a nice day.